Hi, do you remember that you have an infinite inner resource that nobody can take away from you, nobody can control your access to, and the more you use it, the more it gives? This inner resource is your own soul. If you don't like the word soul, you can use the word consciousness or deeper levels of your consciousness. One way you can use this resource is to ask your soul a question every day. So, for example, I today asked my soul a question to give me a daily wisdom that would be most relevant and useful for me today, but also something that I could share with other people. So here's what I got. Now, because I practice this quite a lot, I received a diagram and with quite detailed explanations. But it does not have to be detailed like this for it to be useful and make sense to you. You may receive an emotion. You may receive a feeling of release. You may receive a memory. You may receive an inner insight that everything's okay. And the more you talk to your soul consciousness, the more clear your communication becomes. So here's the daily wisdom that I received from my soul in the form of a diagram. There were 3 nodes in the diagram. The top node stood for the upper dreams. It's the things that you think you want and the things that you perceive you do not yet have. Another node was called the lower spheres, and is the things that you want to get away from. And the third node stood for the middle ground. It is where you think you are now. In the center was the node that connected all 3 of the nodes, and it was called Traverse, but I called it Traverse Center. So the dreams feel a little bit like future. The lower spheres feel a little bit like past or something that we'd like to stay in the past. And the middle ground is something that where you perceive yourself to be right now. So kind of like the present. So it had a little bit of a feeling of future, past, and present, and a little bit like the 3 worlds that we visit when we do shamanic journeying sometimes for certain purposes. But they were none of them. They were what they were, and let them be that. So I found it interesting that the upper dreams, like the future, and the lower spheres, something I'd like to stay in the past, and the middle ground, where I perceive myself to be right now, had a center, which is how I experience all of the 3 times, the present, the past, and the future. How do I experience it? And we have different ways or approaches how we can experience all the 3 times, the future, the past, and right now. So one way you can traverse the 3 nodes, your perceived future, perceived past, and your perceived present, is through a kind of perspective of dissatisfaction. Let's say dissatisfaction of not having your dreams met. Dissatisfaction with what you want to get away from, but you still haven't. Dissatisfaction with where you think you are. You can also traverse the 3 nodes from a more joyful and light perspective. So let's say experiencing the joy of dreaming what may come, experiencing the pleasure of where you are now, and experiencing gratitude for what has passed and gone away. And there's a third perspective from which you can experience the 3 nodes. It is through remembering and knowing that you choose and create your dreams. It is remembering and knowing that you choose how you perceive where you are now. Remembering and knowing that it is your choice to hold on to or release what you want to get away from. This perspective gives you the authority and the power and puts you in the driver's seat of your life and how you experience yourself at all times. So when I use this advice for myself, when I look at my dreams and I remember and know that I choose and create my dreams, I often end up realizing that some of my dreams are actually not my dreams, but something I've copied, maybe borrowed from other people in my life, the people who raised me and the people who I have communicated with and lived with throughout my life. So sometimes I realize that some of these dreams that I have are not really my own, and they kind of have no business being my dreams. And sometimes I realize that my dreams are actually a means for me to get somewhere where I could get much easier without doing something that's not actually necessary. So once again, there happens to be a cleanup of my dreams. So I'm putting yourself into this driver's seat of your experience of how you perceive yourself to be in the center of these three nodes. Gives you the power, the authority, and the awareness of how your dreams can be updated. And it doesn't mean you have to only update downwards in some way, shape, or form. You just update to make it more relevant to you, to what you actually want. So that when you look at your dreams, you don't look at them with the dissatisfaction of something that you don't have or you perhaps will never get. But you can look at your dreams with like a kind of a pre-taste of, ooh, I love where I'm heading. I love where I'm going. And the same with the rest of the two nodes. So with the lower spheres, the things that I want to get away from, and maybe I still haven't gotten away from some of those things, remembering and knowing that it is my choice to hold on to them or to release what I want to get away from. You can't look at it from a negative perspective where you start blaming yourself that, oh no, I still haven't released this bad habit from my life. Oh no, I still haven't released this person from my life. Or, oh no, I haven't released this perspective from my life. You can look at it, on the other hand, with more compassion and understanding of yourself. That you are a work in process, realizing that, yes, I have been choosing to still hang on to this thing that I have been wanting to let go of for some time. And this again puts you in power in the driver's seat. That means you can always go and revisit what you haven't still released. And let's take a look at it from a perspective of let's roll up our sleeves and we can figure this out step by step, and realizing that not all steps are done all the time. It puts you in a place where you feel that you have control over what you're releasing. And by the way, updating constantly what you're releasing, why you're releasing it, how it's connected to your dreams. So every time your dreams are updated, your lower spheres or the things you want to let go of also get updated. The middle ground. Remembering and knowing that you choose how you perceive where you are now. So you can't choose to see it with dissatisfaction. I am dissatisfied with being where I perceive I am. Or maybe we can work on our perspective of where I am today with a kinder eye, with a more compassionate and forgiving eye, and with an eye that realizes that I am in a place which I earned. I am in some place between the lower spheres of things that I want to let go of and the things that I want to experience. I am somewhere in the middle on the pathway. And perceiving things from experience of gratitude and pleasure of the things that you have already received or let go of. And it is your and only your business of how you see yourself and where you see yourself, not allowing other people's real or imaginary opinions, judgments, and emotions replace your own. So having our own perspective of where we are instead of adopting other people's perspective of where we are. This was what my soul gave me as a daily wisdom for me to reflect on and to remember to help me go on my journey of life. Sometimes something complicated comes through, and sometimes something very simple comes through, like just a message of, I love you. If you'd like to practice how to communicate with your soul or with your consciousness, you can book a session with me where I help you do that for yourself, where I help you practice, or you can join me every Thursday at 2 p.m. EST. I have a shamanic healing group sitting. Every Thursday is a different topic. Every last Thursday of the month is free, and every regular Thursday of the month is $10 to join each sitting. I wish you great communication with your soul consciousness. try it right now. Take a moment in silence and ask your soul to come through and tell you a healing message that is the most relevant for you right now. And if you get something that you like to share, do share it in the comments to this video. And let's share with each other the endless, the infinite resource we all have, and it cannot ever be depleted, which is the insights, the wisdom of our own soul consciousness that only gets bigger and gives more. The more you connect to it, the more you talk to it, the more you use it. Do share your daily wisdom with me. See you later.